okay, it's just possible I may have had an epiphany. Something like an epiphany. Something like an epiphany, baby. But yes, it's this the schizotypal character. The flamboyant. When I sort of look a little bit deeper into that, it just makes so much sense. It's basically, like I say, he's not fake. He's me, but he's he is a mask that I have created. He's my happy place. Basically, he's my happy place, and he's where I ran away to. Pretty much. It makes just so much more fucking sense if I just simplisticalize it in that way. And then just think, well, then that's where you are. That's why I love it when people say, I love your clothes. And they say, that looks really like you. And I've commented on that before. That's one of the, the most common things that get said. That's a real Mikey sort of a top. I love it when people tag me when there's like shoes or cloaks. They just tag me because of the style of it and just go, this is you all over. And I've often said it's like they're saying, I like you. And if you add into that the sort of psychological dynamic that might be the schizotype is some form of alter ego that Mikey created, and then bits of Mikey ran away into it to protect Mikey from what wasn't Mikey. And that's why Mikey's currently discovering parts of himself that aren't him, and we are in negotiations with said stubborn bastards. But the problem is they work in upper management. So there's a tribunal and an appeal. It's kind of it. But, that was one of the, like I said in my sort of mixed personality disorder video, which I probably still might end up being. It's just literally that melon result was pretty fucking high. It was pretty fucking high. So it's basically all of those symptoms with all of those disorders. And some of them are only a couple or three. Some of them are not many. But they're significant. It's their significance, like I've always kept stressing. It's not the fact that it happens occasionally or happens to an annoying degree or to maybe give you a reputation for it. And then there's the ones where it really just fucking starts to dominate your life and you're wasting hours and hours and hours of every single day fucking around with things that you're chasing. And that's people like me, because I'm special. But it was kind of that part of the decision of, right, the fucking lid is coming off. I'm fucking sick of people telling me what I've got to realise is I'm hard work. And I just thought, you don't know how much fucking hard work I put on to not be the cunt that I get called anyway. That's how my life was getting, man. And so that, that was conscious. But then that was the thing that was one of the pointers I'd read when I just looked up schizotypal. It just saw it flashed up out of those 8. I was like, what is schizotypal? Because it sounds vague. It's schizotypal. Well, no one really knows what schizo or schizoid means, and it's typal. It's something like it. It's relative to it. Well, that could mean it's actually, most people would say it's a milder version. Not necessarily. It could mean it's worse. It's schizotypal. It's the same as you could have a variation of a virus, and one of them might give you worse symptoms. Who fucking knows what it is? I didn't know. And it was just the outlandish modes of dress and identifying oneself. And I'm just thinking, yeah, and then there's all these little characters. And Dr. Blueberty saying, just keep it. Just keep it. But I think I'd need to not just keep it, but like develop it in this process of what I'm doing, of eradicating these false me's. Because I ain't going to get fucking nowhere in life, mate, until I do, quite frankly. This cannot be fucking talked to. It just happens. It's a surge. It's a thing. I'm making conclusions without knowing I've made them. I feel uneasy. If you could look at my subconscious, there's probably loads of reasons why I felt uneasy. And it's because he looked like him, or she looked like her, or that looked like that, or that I heard that word, or what. There's fucking loads. There's fucking loads. That's what another reason I feel weak. Because like I say, it can come from nowhere. It can come from nowhere, and I don't know. So I've identified that's like my biggest problem, is it's making me behave erratically, behave in ways that give a false representation of who I am and what I'm thinking and feeling. Behave in ways which are incredibly difficult for others to tolerate. incredibly difficult for others to be around. And at the same time, knowing that they all know you've got a lovely heart and you're a lovely person, it's just you drive them up the fucking wall and they can't tell you to your face because at the end they don't want to hurt you. That's pretty much it in a nutshell. Pretty much it in a nutshell. Because I have to make you go. But yeah, that's my communication style. You know, I've just had to recognise that for now. Start there. Start where you are, and start being honest with people about it. I'm gonna, and you know, joke about like I was not cracking the joke. If I can't remember you, it's probably your fault because you didn't do anything memorable. But it was starting to happen to people that I knew, and just not knowing what to say around my friends and kept going blank, and I was just being like, this is actually really unsettling me, really badly, you know, and it's causing great degrees of social anxiety that I didn't know how to handle. And suddenly it was like, what the fuck is happening? It was really frightening to suddenly just lose who you are and just start going weird and see these faces like waiting for an answer and starting to look around and shit like that. But I think I need to reintroduce the joke, basically. It's like, especially, is how could you not fucking tell I'm one schizotype motherfucker? So I do have a very sketchy memory. So it's like really a lot more your responsibility to do something memorable. You have to make a big fucking song and dance about it. I have, where's yours? And, you know, I've quite often sort of arrogantly ridiculised myself like that and sort of turned it into a form of one of my rants. And I've made them sound quite fucking hilarious. And I think that's maybe just like a part of it. It's like, you know, it's that whole sort of disarming you thing. Well, I kept telling people I had a short shelf life. And then you find you get all night people are reassuring you that you haven't been annoying and that you've been fun. Sort of declare a foul on yourself. But I think it'll be a way to sort of sort the fucking wheat from the chaff with all this shit that's going on. All this shit that's not driving me and driving me with, you know, with everything that I want to achieve. There's another bit that second guesses it and judges, and it's just fucking relentless, mate. It's fucking relentless. And, you know, that's why I go into zones of blankness, because my brain doesn't know which way to fucking turn. And it's overloaded. It's just, yeah, there's a whole string of things that lead to me being this fucking hilarious. But yeah, if I need to personify things, I'm just call him the schizotype. But yeah, just start being him more. Just thinking, well, that's where, like, you know, no one comes up and says to me, I fucking love how you're short-tempered. No one comes up and says to me, I fucking love how you can be 6 hours late. No one comes up and says to me, I love driving places with you when you're screaming cunt at everyone that comes within 6 feet of you. No one says that. People say, I love what you're wearing, more often than anything that's ever said to me in my life in the last 3 years. And it's glorious. It starts conversations, and people sort of just talk about my clothes. And I say, oh no, I wear those like pedal pushers. And I just go, love it. I just come up with all of like my little bizarrities. And it's just, you know, at some point that person will go, it really suits you. And of course, that's why it makes me happy. Again, there's that false impression. The false impression is, oh, he's a needy cunt. He's got low self-esteem. He loves getting attention from people when they smile at him. It's like, yeah, I will go 50% with you. I'll go 50% with you. But another thing is, they're saying, I see you, and it's okay. Look at it, it's making me smile. That fucking wackoid bit of you that walked into the room before you did. You know? So I need to start celebrating that shit more. I do. I've started to tell people that they brighten my day up now. When they say that I do, and I say, yeah, but the way you smile when you tell me that brightens my day up because I can see how happy I've made you. It's lovely. I give them shit back. It's just because you're such a lovely person, and I love how happy you are. That kind of shit. Because you know, when I was reading up on a lot of this shit before I went into my psychotherapy, I was also looking at like the shamanic stuff. And I did a soul retrieval. And when I think of there was all these bits of my soul that had run away and started coming back. And then around that time, she fucking surfaced. She didn't surface, she surfaced. She surfaced a while before, I think, quite a while before. But she began to insist upon herself around that time. And then, you know, a lot of it, I personified the inner child. And I said, even then, I split that into a class of children. Because I said, he's the one who's had his head on the fucking desk like that. And like every time he's tried to fucking talk, someone up there and out there has told him that he doesn't exist. And he's been fucking sulking for years. And that was like the voice I say I listened to. I listened to him and I comforted him. I said, you poor little fucker. You poor little fucking darling. Shit like that to him. But again, there was another part of me that started driving me. Like not long after that post, I was talking to a girl I know. And we were discussing like this woman side of me. And I was talking about I was talking about being a woman to a woman when I don't identify as a woman. It's nothing's ever simple. But then, you know, like a few months later, I see my whole dress sense, the way that I talk, curious modes of speech, and the way that I identify myself, outlandish, curious, eccentric, flamboyant, da-di-da-di-da. Like, so that's got a name as well. But then I just think, well, yeah, it is, by and large, that's why Dr. Blueberty said keep it. And as I've said, I will discuss with him, it's like it's the schizoidicalness, the confusion, the fear, the wobbliness, that ain't listed in EUPD, not so much. It's not as you know, I think there can be some of that. There's, you know, feelings of being, you know, fear of betrayal or rejection or abandonment and those sorts of stuff, and they can lead to like paranoia. But it doesn't have the schiz bit, which is the close cousin of paranoia. And to me, that's the bit that really unsettles me and makes my voice wobble and makes me hide. So for him to say that's the bit I'm not treating, I'm like, well, But then hopefully, who knows? Who knows? I just think I will just live forever as the schizotype and just completely change my whole mode of speech and everything and just become him. Because that's where the most pure parts of me are. And like that's the bit that reacts when I see little animals and when I go and I talk to dogs and the dogs want to come and say hi to me. I always stop and talk to animals, and it's why kids smile at me and then start talking to me and I invent games with them. It's why I just do all my magical random shit. All the bits that objectively people see and go, what a lovely guy. The bits that's twinkly and the bits that make you say, mate, you're killing it. And it's like, it's a tip of a fucking complicated iceberg. I'm killing that part. I'm killing that part. I'll accept that bit. But then, yeah, so maybe I'll just slip that fucking jacket on and strut my fine ass down the fucking road. Because it, you know, the more I just think of it like that, I just think, well, yeah, it makes fucking sense. It makes fucking sense. And that's why my clothes feel so genuinely me. That's the bit I've said all along, how I choose it as I go. But when I'm getting dressed and what I combine with what is often variant on the day, and it's just something comes back, whether it's to do with the colours or the style or what's printed on it or what, there's something I'm looking for. And I go, that's Mikey, that's today's Mikey. And it just makes stunning and utter sense how it's like the schizotype is like the finery has risen to the surface. The shit is down below. We are working on that. We will get back to you once we have killed it all.